Good morning everyone. This is a cold start of the Suzuki Swift Sport ZC33S. So Suzuki Swift Sport with a 1.4 liter turbo engine, in this case combined with a hybrid system. So an integrated starting assist. And now I'm comparing it a little bit to the BMW 330e that my wife drives, and I also drove recently because I had to drive her to work because her hand is broken at this point, and yeah, it's already fixed of course, but it still needs to completely restore. So if you then have a little bit more time to give it without stressing it, that's a good thing. So that being said, I think both cars are excellent, of course, and therefore we chose them, but they are also different. So one of the differences you saw is that this is a little bit more bumpy because it is on the lower chassis. Also the BMW is very low, but it has a longer wheelbase and is therefore a little bit more forgiving, so to say, for bumps. That being said, it's also very low, so it depends on the type of bump how it will fare. Both have the tendency that they can scrape speed bumps, for example. The other thing is that this is a car that is front wheel drive, and the BMW is rear wheel drive, of course. And front wheel drive feels a little bit different. The BMW feels that you're getting pushed, and this is the feeling that you're getting pulled, because there's an engine in front which directly drives the front wheels, whereas the BMW has the engine in the front as well, but it's channeled towards the back, and there it drives the rear wheels, so it feels like you're being pushed. Another thing is what you just heard. This is a more modern car, of course. It is like 5 years younger, and it also has additional features such as all these safety things. So all those beeps when they think that you might be in danger for an accident. For example, someone just comes into your driving lane without looking, it will alert you. And that's a good thing, but also a bad thing, because when we are just talking like we are doing now, you hear all those beeps, and I would have seen what was happening regardless of the system alerting me. So it's a little bit babying yourself, but it can be good as well. And why is that? For example, if you're tired or something else is coming up, or you have heard bad news, or your mind is not completely with the driving, this is a driving aid that will help you, of course. The sound, they both have a nice sound. This sound is also enhanced because there's a sport exhaust by HKS, high power spec L, from the catalyst down. The other one only has, the BMW only has the latest muffler, which is the resonator, removed. On the other hand, this also has a GPF, so gasoline particle filter, so it's muffled even more than the BMW is. And it has an exhaust system. BMW has a standard exhaust system with one resonator deleted, which gives a nice sound. And the benefit is, even if the BMW would be more raw once pressed, the benefit is that you have a car that is both electric and gasoline, so you can drive off very silently also in the morning. But both cars have a nice tone, so if you're just driving relaxed and having a phone call, you will have no trouble at all. The thing is, when you look at the motor characteristic, both have a 4-cylinder engine with a turbo. Both have good pickup. The benefit of the BMW, in my opinion, is that stock it has more rev happiness, so you can get into the higher revs, whereas this is above 5,000 RPM. The red line is at 6,250, something like that, but it cannot make this. The Suzuki does not make that revs. So it's cutting out the power before it gets there, and that's I think a little bit of a pity. Whereas the BMW can make 6,500 RPMs relatively easily. So in the top end, this BMW feels a lot stronger. Another thing to take into consideration, this car is of course a different class. This the B segment, the Swift is, whereas the BMW 330e is more the C segment and C towards D. Yeah? So it's a bigger car all around, but if you look at the seating capacity, it's quite on par. So that's a good compliment of the Suzuki, because the car is a lot more compact. It's much easier to park. Both have very nice parking aids. So this has parking sensors and also a rear view camera, which is helping you, whereas the BMW has an all-round system that also gives you information from the front, which this one does not. Both also have cruise control, both have a manual handbrake, which I like. The BMW is an automatic and this is the manual, so it's also different. Automatic of course is better when you look into comfort, and manual is better when you look into just feeling in control. So it depends on what you're looking for. Both have their fortes and also their drawbacks, let's say, but in general the automatics are getting so good these days that they are very good. They are faster, they shift better, they also are better on fuel economy. The only drawback could be that you have a little bit additional weight, which is not a big deal with a big car. It's already quite heavy like the BMW, but could be a deal with this type of car. This is Suzuki Swift, the earlier iteration without the hybrid system, which was codenamed K14C, was delivered also with an automatic transmission, which was actually faster in a straight line than the manual transmission is. This new generation with the hybrid power plant does not come with automatic transmission, as far as I know. But perhaps if you do know it, that there is an exception to the rule, please let me know. And in Europe you can never get the automatic transmission. Perhaps in the United Kingdom you can. It's no longer part of Europe since Brexit. Another thing to consider is that the standard equipment is a lot better in this Suzuki Swift Sport. So you get sporting seat standard. Also, both have sporting seats without electronic. How do you say this? Options to electronically adjust your seat, but that's also a benefit in my opinion, because how many times will you use that? Not that many in my opinion, but it can also go and be destroyed. Now I'm driving like 5 kilometers an hour and someone is stopping in front of me because without using its lights he wants to go to the left. Beeping already. I think it's a little bit too babying sometimes, but yeah, who am I? Back to the cars. Now you hear also this engine notes. This is 2500 RPM that you heard, and now I'm shifting to the next gear again. Both have excellent capabilities when you look at the pleasure that they can give. For long distance driving, I would prefer the BMW over the Suzuki. Suzuki is also comparable in the, if you look at the fuel consumption. The one has a 2 liter, the BMW, and this has a 1.4, but it is a lot lighter and feels so nice for this back roads. There I would prefer the Suzuki easily. I think also on a long trip that this Suzuki will be better on the fuel economy than the BMW will. On the short trips the BMW will easily surpass it, because it is a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. So the first range that you use, you can maximally exploit the electrification that you have, so that will decrease the fuel consumption. If you also take into consideration the electric bills, of course it could be a little bit different as well. But yeah, that's about it. Another thing to consider is that if you look at what you get in terms of how do you say this, guarantee. BMW, when the 330e came out, and I think also at this time it's 2 years guarantee, and this is 6 years. 6 years at this moment. I'm not saying that every time Suzuki will give 6 years, but it was 6 years at this moment. It's triple the amount. That tells you something about perceived quality and premium things, and real mechanistic quality, in my opinion. Also, the price range. The Suzuki Swissport you can get for easily half the money as compared to the BMW. Also, the BMW has a smaller nephew, so in the newer generation they place a smaller, cheaper variety just below the 330e, and named the 320e, and that's also an excellent car. If you look at tuning ability, the BMW is already a detuned engine, so you will have more relative gains there. So that's a good thing to consider. Normally you would not have that much gains because you have part is being electric, part being gasoline, and the electric you cannot tune. But in this case you have excellent gains with the 330e, and you have also good gains with the ZC33S hybrid, but not as good as the BMW. They are, however, a little bit better relative gains as compared to the non-hybrid Swissport. And also you can solve this issue that they have with the RPM and the cutting off too early. So that's also a thing to consider. Yeah, for the rest I think everything has been said and compared. Hope you liked this short video. Foundering Car out.